But I did have a question though with Indiana, right? Because even though the starters weren't in, like Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hull they've been in the league for a while. You actually had players who, like Bree Hall. Why wasn't she in that game per se?
Brazil's national team just made the biggest mistake of their career. They tried to intimidate the new and improved Caitlin Clark. But this offseason, Clark leveled up. She's added serious muscle to her frame, and now she's a whole, different force on the court. Tougher, stronger, and impossible to push around.
Yeah, I know, man. It was only a matter of time before Cheryl Swoop said something and the fans were going to be all over her, man.
Result, a jaw-dropping 108-44 blowout. Nearly 15,000 fans witnessing Caitlin Clark's transformation unfold in real time. She didn't just show up, she dominated. With laser-sharp precision and fearless deep range, Clark hit three-pointers that left Brazil's defense frozen in place. Every shot, every pass, every move sent a message. Caitlin Clark isn't just back. She's stronger, smarter, and more dangerous than ever. Now let's talk about that so-called bully.
Unfortunately, in some cases, you do feel like there is something else lurking behind said opinions that may not be basketball related. Let's put it that way. Because, I mean, after all, we saw Cheryl Swoops in rare form hating on Caitlin Clark all last year.
When Brazil stepped on the court, their strategy was crystal clear. They planned to rough up Caitlin Clark, just like teams tried to do last season. From the opening minute, it was obvious. They thought physicality would break her. They studied the tape, saw the hits she took as a rookie, and thought, we'll push her around, she'll fold. But they couldn't have been more wrong. This isn't the same Caitlin Clark. All off-season, she locked in, not just on her skills, but on her body. She hit the weight room with quiet intensity. No social media hype, no flashy updates, just work. She built real strength, stronger arms, powerful legs, a complete transformation. She didn't post about it. She didn't talk about it.
But I did have a question though with Indiana, right? Because even though the starters weren't in, like Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hull they've been in the league for a while. You actually had players who, like Bree Hall. Why wasn't she in that game?
Brazil's players stuck to their bullying game plan with relentless focus. They bodied Clark in the lane, threw stiff arms on defense, and bumped her every chance they got. Every move was calculated, a direct play from the same playbook teams used during her rookie year. They were determined to throw her off rhythm, to shake her confidence, to break her flow. But this time, it didn't.
Now, the whole problem that people are finding with this is basically that she called out two white players and didn't say anything about Kelsey Mitchell, 27 minutes, Sydney Colson's 14 minutes.
Moment said it all. A much larger Brazilian player tried to stiff-arm Clark on a drive, the kind of move that would have knocked her back last season. But this time, Clark didn't move. She stood her ground like a wall, and it was the Brazilian player who nearly lost her balance, stumbling to stay upright. The crowd exploded. In that instant, everyone knew. They weren't just watching a star. They were witnessing the rise of an unbullyable.
Basically didn't say anything about any other player or the situation. Now, honestly, if she didn't have her history, I believe the fans would leave her alone, right? I don't think the fans would come after her if she didn't have the paper trail of saying racist, outlandish things.
By the second half, Brazil had completely abandoned their physical game plan. They finally realized it wasn't just ineffective, it was backfiring. As one commentator put it perfectly, Brazil handed Caitlin Clark the perfect stage to unveil her transformation. They gave her the spotlight, and she owned it. The 108-44 score was more than a win. It was a message. Brazil's entire strategy collapsed against Clark's new strength, turning their aggression into a showcase of her evolution. What was meant to break her ended up revealing her biggest improvement. And now, every team watching has been warned. The old tactics won't work.
Well, maybe she has figured out, well, hating on Clark, I've been told That's not really a great idea. Yada, yada, yada. So what other white girls can I tune up from the Indiana FIBA?
Caitlin. Clark dropped 16 points in just 18 minutes, shooting a blistering 60% from the field. Every time she touched the ball, she took over. Brazil threw everything they had at her, and none of it worked. They had no answers, no counters, no way to stop her. Clark wasn't just playing. She was incomplete.
But as expected, never anything positive with the Fever. Never anything.
And here's the crazy part. She hit 4 of 6 from way beyond the arc. These weren't your average threes. Every single shot came from at least 28 feet out. She was launching from another zip code. Brazil's defenders were face-guarding her, blitzing her, doing everything to shut her down. But none of it mattered. She just kept raining down deep bombs that barely touched the net. Then came that moment, the one that nearly broke the...
Keep in mind, a lot of this team is new to each other, so getting minutes among with a new player like Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hull together, and some of these others, veterans, I'm sure is a priority.
Because seriously, how many players on earth are doing this? It's ridiculous. Clark got the ball near half court with the shot clock ticking down, and without hesitation, she pulled up from what felt like miles away. The ball soared through the air, perfect form, perfect arc, and the entire arena held its breath. It rimmed out at the last second, but no one cared. The crowd erupted. They weren't cheering for a make. They were in awe of the confidence, the range, the fearlessness it takes to launch that kind of shot. That's Caitlin Clark, changing the game, even when the shot doesn't. Full dot clip 10 her passing, just as deadly as her scoring. Clark racked up 5 assists, but that number could have easily been higher. If Aaliyah Boston had finished a few of those perfect passes under the basket, Clark could have easily had 8. She was seeing passing lanes that no one else on the court even knew existed, controlling the game, not just with her scoring, but with her vision and playmaking. She was orchestrating the whole offense.
Getting the minutes to prove whether or not they make the team, this team has to build actual chemistry if they want to win a title. That's what this is about. God almighty.
Just as deadly as her scoring. Clark racked up 5 assists, but that number could have easily been higher. If Aaliyah Boston had finished a few of those perfect passes under the basket, Clark could have easily had 8. She was seeing passing lanes that no one else on the court even knew existed, controlling the game, not just with her scoring, but with her vision and playmaking. She was orchestrating the whole offense.
Okay, again, the whole team outside of your core 4, Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, and Lexi Hull, basically the whole rest of the whole team's new. Dantas is on there. Oh, you get my point, but you got a bunch of new pieces on this team, all right? The preseason doesn't have to be just about your draft pick at all. It can be about, I need this team to learn how to build chemistry on the floor together, working as a team.
Kelsey Mitchell fed off Clark's energy, putting up 17 points of her own. And that's what makes Caitlin Clark so special. It's not just her individual performance. She elevates everyone around her. Defenders get so locked into stopping Clark that it opens up opportunities for her teammates to shine. She doesn't just dominate. She makes the whole team better.
This pod comes out, there'll be a couple more played. Reminder, if the player you love doesn't get in till the 3rd or 4th quarter, it's not a good sign. This is like the unwritten rule of preseason. If you don't get in till late, it's a tough spot. You're in a tough spot. If you get in the first half, it doesn't necessarily have meaning, but
I don't see anything really wrong with it. And then on top of that, I mean, we see who got cut. The 2 players that did not play at all in this game, Jillian and Bree. Neither one of them played in this game and got cut. Now, granted, she could have been thinking about the minutes. Sophie had 34 and Lexi had 32. So maybe she's thinking about the minutes. But honestly, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, every team is doing it. For the Chicago Sky, you had Haley Van Lith getting in late.